Good afternoon to all. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon to all. Myself, Pallavi Tadwakar, Assistant Professor from DBF Dayanand College of Arts and Science, Solapur. Today, we all gathered here to attend the webinar on recent trends in computer application organized by Department of Computer Science. I am here to welcome all of you. So now I'm so grateful to welcome our today's resource person, Mr. Vishal Akkalkote. Welcome, sir, and also welcome to all staff and my all dear students. Welcome to all of you. Now I request to Anchigavi madam to introduce our today's resource person. Over to Anchigavi madam.
Good afternoon, all of you. I'm welcome to all in the today's international webinar, recent trend in a computer application. Okay, our today's guest, Mr. Vishal Akkalkote, sir. He is a principal software engineer at a Spark Networks, Berlin, Germany. Okay, he is working on a multiple platforms like web, big data, distributed systems. He has more than 10 years experience of cutting edge engineering solutions with a wide range of technical skills. Sets like Java, microservice, Spring Boot, Spring, uh, big data, etc. Okay, sir has completed his graduation in DBF Dayanand College, Solapur from 2006 to 2009. Sir has completed his post graduation in Pune University as a scientific computing. Okay. Sir has works in various companies like Sila Technologies as a senior software engineer from September 2011 to June 2015, and ThoughtWorks Technology as a senior software engineer from September 2015 to February 2019. And one more technology, that is Luxoft as a senior software engineer from March 2019 to Feb 2020. Right now, sir is working in Spark Networks as a principal engineer from April 2020. Okay. Sir is awarded by Best Performer of the Year and Bright Spark Award, and one more award was the Star Performer Award. So I request our honorable guest, Mr. Vishal Akkalkote, sir, to start the today's webinar. Sir, just a minute. I am telling all the participant, if you have any doubts on this, you can ask after the sir speech. Okay, if you have, we will give time. Afterwards, you can ask. Okay, sir, you can start the webinar.
Okay, thank you so much, Nirmala Madam Pallavi. And I would like to thank to Ubale sir and to our Shahani sir to giving me this opportunity to talk to you guys. And I'm really grateful to have you all here. And I'll start my presentation with some slides. Let me try to share my screen if I can. Let me know if you guys can see my screen so I can start. Do you guys see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So before we start, I just want to make this thing, this presentation or this session as more interactive. If you guys have any questions or if anything is unclear, You can ask me at that point, or as ma'am mentioned, you can ask me at the end of the presentation. So I have just prepared a small agenda for this meeting. So I'll just introduce myself. I guess most of the things has been already introduced. Then what was my journey, who I was, and where I'm today, what I have done, that might help you as well in your career. And what are the recent trends, what are things people are looking into the IT industry, in the computer industry, and those are the potential things what you can also start learning whenever it makes sense for you guys to start. And out of those, what I'm currently working on, and what exactly is here for you. And if I believe all of you are still undergrads, and if you are doing post graduation, still there are so many things what you can think from the perspective of what I'm doing today or what I have done. And then we can do a small QA session and we can proceed. Okay, so as ma'am mentioned, I'm currently working as a principal engineer. So, what does the principal engineer means is multiple responsibilities. From day one, I guess, when I was entered or joined the BCS, from then I started writing the code. First time when I write a code is in the C language, and till today I'm writing the code. So, code is the most important part of my life. Even over weekends. I write code. I try to create some things what I like. I call them as a pet project, and that really helps a lot. So it means I'm a code passionate and a code lover person. I also contribute in my organization for designing the systems at the architectural level. Daily, I also contribute in writing the production level code, doing a deployment on the production in multiple systems. Uh, so yeah, as I mentioned, I'm currently working with the Spark Technologies. This is a dating app company. We have like multiple dating applications, and those are available across multiple countries. I believe it's 36 countries as of now, and we are still scaling in multiple countries. You guys have must have heard about Tinder or Babel or Bumblebee, these kind of applications, but we are in very serious dating application. So this organization helps me a lot to learn, and I'll be more than happy to share with you guys what I have learned. Okay, so before we start with that, I would like to briefly share my journey. I believe a lot of you guys have doubts about your past, what you have done so far, and will the ways or the opportunities will be there for you in the future or not. Because I don't know if you guys believe or not, when I passed my HSC, the 12th, I was like getting the percentage. It was not even 60. It was below 60%. I was very afraid. I wanted to do the engineering, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to make that. But I joined BCS. I gave whatever I can. Even I guess the course started in June. I joined in August. So it was very hard for me to start. And when you are passionate about doing things or working in a field where you want to do, and if you don't get that opportunity, you get distracted or you don't feel good. But that's not a blocker. As Swami Vivekananda said, in a day when you don't come across any problem, you can be sure that you are traveling in a wrong path. So till date I am getting so many obstacles. I don't say these are the difficult problems, but some of them were really difficult, some of them were okay, but we have to deal. And if you guys have also similar background, like if you haven't got really good marks, or if you feel like you are not good at something, it's not an obstacle. You just have to work on that and just forget about your past, and just concentrate on what you are today, what are you doing today, and that's gonna help you a lot. uh, I have so many experiences starting from my 12th, then graduation. After completing the graduation, I wanted to go to the Pune University, but there also we had so many exams and I wasn't able to clear most of them. But fortunately, I got selected in one of the college, which is ISSC. It's a interdisciplinary school of scientific computing, and I did that. So you guys also keep hopes, and it's not gonna let you down. You will make it one day. And yeah, with that said, maybe we can go for the main agenda for today. It's a recent trends. So in my more than 10 years of experience, I have seen so many things. I started with the simple Java application, the multi-threaded applications, a desktop application. Then I worked on the web applications, and in these 10 years, it's been like a decade, and so many things have popped out, and people are working extensively on these things. So you guys must have heard about these words, machine learning. Machine learning is something, even what we are doing today, it's working behind the scene. Whatever the data we are giving, receiving, it's everything is part of it. So companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, if you have heard about the FANG, they're using this data a lot. Whatever you use, whatever you share, whatever you do, they use that data to make some things out of that. For example, if you are on the Amazon website, if you want to buy something, you look for that, and let's say you don't buy those things, and you just have a look at those things, and when you go for a different website, you will start getting an advertisement for those things. For let's say you saw a guitar, you want to purchase a guitar. Even if you don't purchase, you start looking the ads for guitar, how those things are happening, how it automatically gives you those ideas. So behind the scene, this machine learning is there, and it's using quite a few things what we give it to the system. So it's very important to understand what we share, what data we post, what data we try to get. It's helping guys, these companies. I don't say it's bad, it's good, but it's up to us what data we want to share or receive. In parallel, machine learning, the artificial intelligence is another thing which is trending like anything. You guys must have been using the Google Translator, the Google Lens, uh, even voice recognition. You just speak what you want to search, you will be able to get that searched on the Google. Natural language processing, you guys must be using the translators. So these all things are really important, and these are what getting used, and especially Google is investing a lot in machine learning, AI, quantum computing, so that the future is going to be totally different than what we are looking at today. So if you guys have tried, if you take your phone, open your Google Lens, and if you put a math formula and try to capture that, it will try to give you an answer of that formula. It's going till that extent. So artificial intelligence is something we can see around, and if you see a lot of gadgets around yourself, those are artificial intelligence and machine learning. If you are using your smartwatch or a mobile phone, those are continuously giving this data to these systems, and they are using to make some analytics out of that, and based on that they take so many decisions, and gives you the idea about what it is all about, and what you are looking for. They try to predict what you're gonna like, what you're gonna dislike, what you will be looking for. And that's really fascinating for me, and I hope if you understand or if you get to know these things, it's gonna be the same for you also. Also, blockchain is another interesting technology. Um, I think if you guys must have heard about the cryptocurrency, right? The cryptocurrency is also something so many countries are trying to adapt. So many countries are still hesitant to go to adapt that. But if you know Tesla, the Elon Musk, he is a big fan of that, and most of the time he drives it. But blockchain is something, the underneath technology people are using, the companies are using for this cryptocurrency. So if you are interested, blockchain is another interesting thing which we can look into, and that has a really good future. And if these are the like machine learning, AI, blockchain, these are very very top technologies, and the big companies are investing a lot in that. But in parallel, it's not that easy to get into that. We need to put really good efforts to learn these things, especially in the machine learning and AI. You have to be really good into the algorithms, data structure, statistics, mathematics, and then you will get to learn these things. Also, for machine learning, Google has a really good platform, a TensorFlow, which you can use to learn, to start understanding what exactly the machine learning is, and keep yourself up to date. And I'll try to share some resources with you, what all things you can use, what all things you can follow, so that you will keep yourself up to date, and you can learn from that. Uh, Apart from these high funda technologies, we also have really good architectures, which is called a microservice architecture. If you have recently heard about the agile practices, which is getting used in, I mean, I think all of the big organizations, or even the startup companies, are trying to adapt to this agile methodology. And microservice architecture is something a lot of people are trying to adapt to, and this is really helpful. We can dive deeper into this microservices architecture if you guys are interested. But this is some kind of an architecture where you create very small services which does a unique thing for you, and it has so many benefits, especially in the distributed environment. And that is the next thing which is trending. A distributed system is a need for today's uh, computer science applications, especially for the web applications, because one thing which is available in one country is now available across all the globe. So let's say we can talk about the Game of Thrones, which was initially on the HBO, and it was presented in the US, but it's supposed to get presented, or it needs to be displayed across all the countries. So how this can be done, or how they are distributing the same content across the world? So distributed system is something really interesting, and that's really important when you have, or the organizations have, the application which is the global application, not specific to a state country. It's across the world. So we can talk about this also, what exactly the distributed system and how it works. Also, the cloud services is another thing, which is, you guys must have heard about the cloud, right? People talk about, we are deploying on the cloud, Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud, for Amazon they call it as AWS, and Microsoft also has their Azure Cloud. So what used to happen is, before these cloud services, the companies try to deploy their solution in house, like they have their own big servers. They used to spend a lot money on buying those servers, maintaining those servers. But nowadays, what Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, like companies, they are trying to build the infrastructure, and with that infrastructure you can just create your application and deploy it in their infrastructure, and that's all. You don't have to worry about uh, what is the server, what is the bandwidth, how I can scale. So many problems I have been solved with this. So cloud services is something more interesting. Parallel processing using GPU. Yep, this is what I have started, like when I have completed my post graduation. Uh, I did my internship in NCRA. It's a National Center for Radio Astrophysics in the Pune University. So there we used a parallel computing to process the data. So why do we need the parallel processing or these GPUs? So basically, if you consider your simple computer or your desktop machine, it has a CPU which computes your operations, right? But when you have really good amount of data, I'm when I say good amount of data is like a terabytes of data, and which is streaming continuously. You are gathering the data and you have to process it as soon as you get that. So for that kind of a computation you need to have that kind of a powerful computer. So what do we do to work on these kind of things is, if you guys have heard about a company called Nvidia, they produce these kind of GPU. These are the graphic cards which contains graphical processing unit, which is more powerful than our CPU, although it works along with CPU, but it's very powerful. So let's say if you are getting 1 TB of data and you want to process it, so 100 GB of data gets processed across parallelly. Let's say there are 4 or 10 threads working in parallel. When we say multi-threaded program, your 10 threads are working in parallel and each thread is doing its individual work, right? So similarly, in GPU, the multiple processes are helping you to work on it and process the data. Also, the big data is something I forgot to mention. Big data is something similar technology, or the trend is going on where we do the same thing, and Facebook and Google are highly using this technology to process their data. Let's say Facebook, right? When you post something, when you write something on the Facebook, it instantly get published to your friend's wall. How does this happen? Like across billions of people are using the Facebook and Google. They are doing searches, they are posting their photos, videos, text content, and that is getting processed really fast. So big data is something, a technology which is playing really good role in this. So there are so many components, so many advanced things have been here in the big data. Earlier, when it started with the Google, they had only a framework called MapReduce, where you used to get some data, you process it, and then do some analysis on that. But as it grown, Apache had started something called Apache Spark, and which is very very powerful, a tool, a technology than the existing the earlier MapReduce in the big data. So that's really good. And also, if you guys know about Kafka, I'm not sure. So Kafka is something which is also trending a lot nowadays because of its nature of processing things parallelly. Even in case of something goes down, it persists the data and helps you to work in parallel. So there is something called Kafka Stream, which is really interesting and uh, getting used a lot across the services or across the companies. Though they have a lot of competitors, like RabbitMQ used to be there, then this Apache Kafka is there, and so many other tools. Also this quantum computing, which I am bit interested in, but I'm not very familiar with this. But last year, when I was looking at Google, Google is heavily investing in the quantum computing, which you guys must at least read about what exactly this quantum computing is. And it's, I believe and I guarantee you that it's gonna fascinate you, and you have a different view at looking at things. And you will be able to see that how fast our future is going to change and how it is changing. And these people, these companies like Fang are trying to invest as much as they can. So it's really fast. If I keep it brief, it's gonna be like very fast computation. If you have 10,000 computers, if you keep them together and ask them to do one thing, quantum computer is going to do that alone. Okay, so these are something which you can start just looking into things which can help you in the future. I don't say that this is the first thing you should go for, but you can think of what we are working on today, right? I believe in our graduation course we don't have all of these things as a part of our curriculum, but we have so many things like we can look ourselves as a full stack developer, we can think of ourselves as a backend developer, we can think of ourselves as a front end developer. It depends on what interests you more. It's not necessary that full stack means if you can work on everything you are really good, or you get higher priority than anyone else. It's not like that. It's just your skill set and what interests you more. Same for the front end and same for the back end developer. For me, I'm not really good at front end. I'm really bad at designing the UI. But it doesn't mean that I can't do that. But it's not something I want to go into. I'm a more of a backend guy who works on the backend technologies, the server side technologies, and uh, uh, and it gives you an equal opportunity to grow in your career. So yeah, these are the major technologies. And recently there is another thing which is getting more popular: DevOps, DevSecOps, and so many other roles. So DevOps is something, let's say, if you are not really good at UI, if you don't feel comfortable in doing UI things, backend things, but you feel like you can do something with the networking, you can do something on the actual server. So DevOps is something which people are trying to get involved into. The companies have very specific openings, specific roles for the DevOps person. So what is the role of this DevOps person is managing the infrastructure. If you want to build a server, if you want to automate your continuous delivery and continuous integration. These are the actually agile terminologies, the continuous delivery and continuous integration. But it's more or less managing your infrastructure, automating the infrastructure. And there is another trending thing called containers. uh, if you guys know about Docker, this had changed a lot in recent years. So the way we used to deploy our applications on the server, we used to deploy it as a single application. Let's say if you are running your application and if your server is failing, and there is nothing you can do unless you find the issue and you can start. Uh, but it needs some professional experience to get deep into the containerization. But Docker Kubernetes is something which is again very interesting topic in terms of deployment of your application on the server. I'm not sure if you guys are at the beginning of the graduation course, you guys understand what exactly mean the deployment. But if you are at the end of your graduation, you can understand when we run our Java application or .NET application. I guess for .NET we run on the IIS server, right? So those kind of things you can build and deploy using the containers. So, okay, so out of these so many technologies, though it looks fascinating, it's not possible to get an opportunity to work on each and every one of that. It's hard. I don't say it's not possible. It's very hard to get to work on each and every one of that, because you need to put a lot of efforts to go deep into these technologies. And if you stick to one, then only you will be able to go deep. So there is something my seniors always told me, like, try to have the T shape of your tech stack. For example, what do I mean by T shape is, you should be able to learn so many technologies, but you should have some particular technologies where you can go deep into, so that you are aware of multiple things, but you have a few technologies where you have really good understanding of it. So I suggest you guys also, whatever you feel comfortable, whatever you guys think it's really good for you, you are doing, you can do really great in that technology. Try to get the deep knowledge of that technology, but in parallel try to learn other languages or the technologies or frameworks, so that will really give you good confidence. I'll talk about that, what we can do about it, and how we can learn multiple things. So what I'm doing currently is, as I mentioned, distributed system is one of my favorite, or the thing which I'm very fascinated about. So I'm currently working on distributed systems clouds. We are using the AWS cloud, and I'm working on the web development. I build the microservices and deploy for my uh, company. And there are so many interesting aspects of, or the things you need to consider when you are building a microservice kind of an architecture, and also working on the parallel computing. Okay, so let's jump to this interesting thing. So I have explained so many things, but what you can do now. So it might be a question for you, that it might be coming in your mind. What should I do now? Shall I go and start looking into just googling out what is machine learning, start doing machine learning? Shall I go straight away and start doing artificial intelligence or blockchain? I suggest take a step back, think about what is the thing we currently have, what all things we are currently working on. For example, if you are interested in machine learning, try to understand exactly what machine learning is, what is artificial intelligence is, because all these things are getting derived from the data. And I'm sure you guys are aware of, data is a fuel for today's IT industry. So though these things looks very similar, or though these things looks interdependent, you can go in one field, but you need to know that what exactly you want to do, where exactly you want to invest your time, your efforts. And then only once you are very confident about this is the area I want to go in, then start investing your time and efforts there. Because it's very important to understand what you want to do, instead of what all things are trending. Because sometimes it happens, I say machine learning is really good, artificial intelligence is really good, but if you are not passionate, or if you are doing this just for sake of someone is saying, that's not good for the future. But if in parallel, if you understand what exactly it is, how it is going to help, what you can contribute to using that technology, uh, that gonna help a lot. But start learning things what are trending technologies. Don't do that immediately, though. Just read about it whenever you get a chance, whenever you feel like, okay, uh, what's happening around the world. But first, in your curriculum, I think it's fortunate that in BCS we have mathematics and statistics along with the computer science and electronics networking. So keep focus on those things because it's very important if you want to go into machine learning, AI, or blockchain. Mathematics and statistics is very important, and this is a good chance. Like you can start from now. People have who are interested in machine learning and AI, they have started learning these statistics and mathematics when they wanted to start learning MI. For example, the people like me who are doing web development from a decade, and now they want to go into the machine learning but don't have any expertise in the statistics or mathematics. I need to go back, I need to study the statistics which you guys are doing right now. So keep focusing on that. Don't forget, any knowledge is a waste. Anything what you learn is going to help you in the future. So we didn't know that. Fortunately, we took statistics and mathematics seriously because mathematics is one of the my favorite subject, and that's really helping me today, and it helped me in the past as well. So networking, electronics, mathematics is something you should learn. I mean, from the exam perspective, doing a graduation perspective, that's also really good, but it will help you in the future. So what I suggest is make your fundamentals clear and make them very strong. So whatever these high fundu technologies or new technologies coming every day in the market, they are totally dependent or have been created with the fundamentals. It's not going to change. The fundamentals are never going to change, irrespective of what you are doing today or what technology is coming. I'm telling you these trending technologies today, but if you are a first year student and when you complete your post graduation, there might be so many other technologies which we don't know even today. But what the fundamentals are getting taught today must be crystal clear, because this is what going to stay with you a lifelong. And if you understand that clear, if your fundamentals are clear, I believe me, you are not going to stop at any stage in your life. Because I have seen, when I was joining Sela, we had 2 months of a training. Based on that, they were selecting some people, not all of them, but when I was doing that training, we were about like 20 students, and out of those only 2 students had their fundamentals clear. Even 18 students were not aware of good object oriented, like OO principles. They know that by definition they understand what is OO principles, but understanding the actual meaning of it, the real life example of it, how we use that in day to day life, how it is getting used, that's really important. So I am just stretching a bit on this one because this is very very important point, irrespective of where you are today. Even if I go 10 years ahead, it's gonna be that important for me also. So if you want to be a programmer, front end, back end, full stack, doesn't matter. You have to keep practicing. Practice is the key to achieve the success. Consciously, unconsciously, we started working on programming when I was first time when I write a code is when I was in BCS first year in the lab. But now people have started doing, you guys must have heard about different apps are coming in the market to make the children start working on the logic. They want to teach the children about programming. uh, I don't have any personal opinion on that, like we should do, we should not do, but that's a separate part. But we should keep practicing the programming because that's the gist of what we are going to be a professional all about, right? if you want to be a developer, you have to be good at the programming. I have seen people who are not really good at programming. They get an opportunity to work on. They get selected in the job because of their other skills like communication skill, presentation skills. But as when they get to work on things, believe me, they struggle a lot, and then they realize, okay, I need to start learning. So let's say if you have to learn something after 5 years, why not today? Let's start learning. I mean, there are people who can help you to learn these things. So get that opportunity, try to make use of those things and start practicing the programs, and try something what you feel yourself. So I can give you an example. When we first time uh, learned about the programming, we started with the algorithm, then we started with the flowchart, then we started writing a simple hello world program in the C. Then one day we started printing the star, and that was really, I mean, first time when you print a star, and after that when you print a moving star, uh, I think you guys must have also done similar things. But that's really fascinating. That enables or make your creativity more powerful. You start thinking about multiple things. So keep practicing whatever language you like, uh, and also there is a key in learning the programming language. So one thing what you can do is, most of the time we have multiple languages to learn. For example, C sharp and Java. So I found this idea as a good solution for me. Do a comparative study. For example, let's say you just take an generic example where you want to do something, and then just compare how you can do this thing in Java and how you can do this thing in Scala. And maybe if you are really more interested, how you can do this in C++. So this can definitely help you, and when you try these things will stay with you for a long time. It's not like just for sake of learning. When you do comparative study, you really remember that for really long time, and you can make really good choices out of that. So yes, that's what my suggestion is. Keep focusing on what is there in your curriculum. Try to be a best at what you are trying, what is there in all of the areas, not only programming. Try to understand the networking, because networking is also really very important in terms of security and all. As and when you grow, you start learning more, you will get to know that everything what you are learning is interconnected, but they are just broken down into pieces so that you can focus on each and every bit of that. So what you can do, these to achieve these things or learn more than what you have is, try to subscribe to some online courses. I Unfortunately, these courses were not that popular or available when I was graduating, but nowadays there are so many online free courses. Some of them are paid courses. You can join, you can try to learn. I don't say it's uh, waste of money, because if you invest in yourself, that's the best investment we can do ever. So there are websites like Udemy, Pluralsight, and Educative IO. So these are the websites you can go and try to subscribe and learn from that. Of course, all of you are aware of this. So many channels are there. Try to follow someone you like, who makes different videos on a technology or on a subject what you like, what you are interested in. Try to understand the videos, because nowadays there are so many resources available which you can use to learn a thing. But at the same time, it's like it's overwhelmed. There are so many resources, it's difficult to identify which one to choose and which one to follow. Yeah, and we were like relying on hard copy. I used to buy that ASP.NET black book. It was like the size of this, and Java reference book. It's like this. So we had like this. My parents were thinking like how much my son is studying. Like he's taking too much pressure, but we hardly read the entire book. But digital books are really good. You can focus, concentrate on that. And along with that, I just want to give you a hint or additional thing which will definitely help you to understand where we are today and what is happening in the world. So the big companies like Google, Facebook, or the FANG companies, they have some events, they have some blogs where they publish different things timely, what they are experimenting, what they are trying to achieve, what are their next goals, what they are researching in. And they have seminars also. For example, for Google, they have Google IO every year. Facebook have, or Meta, which is recently renamed Facebook for Developer. Yeah. And Geeks for Gigs. Okay, this reminds me one more thing. If you really want to go in one of these companies, Facebook, Google, Amazon, problem solving is something you should start working on, because the first four rounds what they have is the problem solving. And Geeks for Geeks, Lead Code, Hacker Rank, Hacker One, these are the websites where you can get to learn a lot of things, and you can practice it online. And also they have some solutions which can help you to understand in case if you don't understand, or you don't find the solution. So I strongly suggest you guys keep an eye on this. Also there is a blog for Netflix. I'll try to share these links with you, but try to follow them, try to understand what are they doing from the technical perspective. And another thing, if you want to build your creativity or thought process about technology, do one thing. When you look at some gadget, any a device which is using a software, try to think about what exactly it must be doing, how it is, whatever the functionality it provides, right, how it is doing. You may be able to get all the answers, you may not be able to get all of them, but if you have this perspective at looking at the things. For example, we are doing this session over Google Meet, right? How this data is getting transferred behind the scene. I'm sitting here in Berlin, I'm talking to you guys, and you guys are able to see. We know the feature, we understand the feature really well, but we don't understand what exactly happening behind the scene, how this data is getting transferred. And without any second of delay, it's reaching to you. It's like thousands of mile I'm away from you guys, and it's still working. If you look at the computer, if you look at the mobile phone, if you look at any gadget, just think about like how it might be working. When you do Google search, how fast it is. Like how does Google know that when I type Narendra, how it automatically pops up the Modi? We have to like put this kind of thought process to understand the technology, to understand the software. And believe me, it's gonna help you a lot in your career. So yeah, and this is the last but not least, the least suggestion I want to give. Skill first. What do I mean is, if you want to invest, if you want to do anything, invest in your skill. Even somebody, if somebody is giving me like $100,000 or $100,000, and they want me to forget about my skills, I'm not going to do, because your skill is something which you are going to use and you are going to survive on. The money is secondary, because money can come and go. Once you learn the skill, there is no way to go back. Because uh, if you know Zerodha is uh, a website which is highly getting used in India for stock market. So the founder of the Zerodha, he is also mentioning the similar thing, like skill is the first and money is the second. So improve your skill, work on your skill, and don't be ashamed of if you are not good at something. Everyone is not good at something. No one is perfect. Everyone is trying to learn things, even after hundreds of years of research and development. As a human, we are not perfect. So don't be afraid of learning new things. Don't be afraid of asking any questions. And keep your do your best, give your best to whatever you do today, whatever you are trying to learn. And I believe if you give your honest efforts, you will succeed in your life. So yeah, that's all I wanted to present today. If you have any questions, any suggestions, or anything you want to talk about, I'm very happy to be here. And don't be afraid of asking any question. No question is a dumb question. No, nothing is uh, I mean, ask me anything. If I can answer, I'll definitely answer. If I can't, I'll do a research, I'll study about it, and I'll get back to you. And it's not like whatever I have present, I am expert in each and everything. It's not possible. uh, Whatever I can do, I can help. I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Any questions? Anything?
Okay, participant, if you have any doubts, you can ask to sir. Ask. If you have any doubts, ask.
Ask me anything. It should not, I mean, it need not be something what I have presented. If you have any questions about in what you are doing currently in graduation, if you are stuck somewhere, if you feel what are the opportunities in the future, what should I do, what should I not do. Okay. What are the important skills for machine learning? For machine learning, so machine learning is a very vast topic. There are so many things in the machine learning, like artificial intelligence is one of it. Then big data is another. There is data mining. But for the machine learning, you have to be good at algorithms. You have to be good at mathematics and statistics, especially because for the machine learning, the most important thing is you need to how does machine learning works is I'll just brief about it. So let's say you are trying to build an algorithm based on which, let's say if I give you an image, in my company, I'll give you the same example. So in my company, what we do is we ask people to upload their photo, the profile photo, and we have to be very confident about the photo what the user is uploading is appropriate, and it's supposed to be displayed to other users. So what we do, we get that image, we try to send it to another service where that photo is getting processed. We try to check what kind of photo it is, and based on that we send the result if it is a profile photo or not. Let's say I'm sending an individual photo, that can be a profile photo. If you keep a group photo, that's not a profile photo, right? So the algorithm identifies itself that this photo is the profile photo or not. So that the algorithm needs to understand what all things needs to be taken care when we process an image. uh, and based on that it makes some decision. But it's not that easy or straightforward uh, to work, to make these things work. It needs a lot of data. It's not going to happen overnight. uh, to make machine learning algorithms work, it needs to work on so much of data. For example, let's say if you have written an algorithm to identify given image is a biscuit or not, you give example, I mean, you first have to feed some data to your algorithm, and then it start working. So if you given images of like Monaco biscuit, Good Day biscuit, Parle biscuit, and if you give image of something like um, the other one, Mario or something like that, the biscuit which is like uncommon, it won't be able to recognize it, and there it needs to improve on their own, and that's where this algorithm comes into picture, where it learns things on its own. So but yes, you if you can learn algorithms, or I think if you are planning to do master degree, there is a subject called algorithms, uh, and that's really good for you guys to focus in future if you want to go for your masters. Okay, just a moment. Quantum computing can be used in AI. Uh, I'm not sure what exactly the future goal of the Google. Where I get to know about quantum computing is Google I/O. There they mentioned that they are trying to build quantum computing, which is going to be a really fast computing. There are so many areas where this can be used. Nowadays, if you know about the medical field, right? The messages or the images, the x-rays, the MRIs which are getting created, or the instruments they are using, are very effective, very intelligent, and the artificial intelligence is some part of it. And maybe these guys will start using this quantum computing in the research and development. The things the human don't know today will be we will get to know using the quantum computing, because it's so powerful, and I believe it's gonna help to discover so many things what we don't know today. But I'm sorry, I'm not very sure about what exactly the plan of the Google, but they are heavily investing in the quantum computing. So there is another question. What is the criteria 10th and 12th for college placement for BCA student? Okay, so it's a contextual. I faced this issue because I had some good score in my 10th, but as I said, 12th was horrible for me. And in the graduation also, I wasn't like a superstar. I think I even didn't made a distinction. I was a first class passed out. So there are some companies which are MNCs. They have this criteria where they ask if you have to have the first class or at least the distinction across your curriculum. But there are some companies which don't care about it, especially in the age of startup, right? So many companies take your interview without looking at what your skill sets are, but they do look at what all things you have worked on. Especially, let's say if if you have just done a graduation, and you have done a project of for your last year, what kind of project you have done, what all things you did, have you actually done it on your own, or you have just copied it from somewhere? What is your thought process, what is your vision, what all skill sets you have? So those kind of companies are also there, and they hire. And I believe if you join a company where you get to learn a lot of things instead of getting a lot of money in your early stage of your career, it's going to help you a lot. But there is no hard and fast rule that if you are not a first class passed out or a distinction passed out, you are not going to get a job. It's not the case, but a few companies do have this criteria. Even one of my best friend, he even didn't had 50% in 12th, and you don't believe where he is today. Maybe you guys can talk to him. He's he's a manager in Microsoft. So it's the initially you will definitely face obstacle if you haven't done good in your 10 12 bcs, but it's not a stop, or it's not a full stop. You have to face little difficulties, but eventually if you are really good at what you do, you will get rid of that. Nobody cares about what you have done today. Nobody asks me about what you have done in my first company, in my second company. What they try to check is what I'm good at today. Okay. What is the type of project considered by company for selecting students? So it depends person to person. But I think if I need to do that, what I do is we all know that every year the students try to make the similar projects what their seniors have done. For example, inventory project, just managing the inventory, managing something. But I suggest you guys try to think about what are the ideas. Think about an idea which no one has implemented, or somebody has already implemented, but there are, excuse me, there are still some scope to improve on that, or to get to a next version of that particular thing. For example, chat, right? Though we had the WhatsApp, they started the Instagram. There was no need, but they have different features, and you can see the WhatsApp, Instagram, then we also have Twitter, we also have Telegram. So the similar kind of applications but different functionalities. So if you feel like you have these kind of ideas, try to implement your idea, try to come up with something interesting, try to implement what you have learned, and that will be really helpful. There are no like one type of project which people look for. Like if you have done this kind of a project, they'll select you, and if you have done this kind of it won't select you. But it's very important how you present yourself when you write your curriculum, or your CV or your resume. How you present what you have done, and when you have an interview, how you present your skill sets. It's very important. I mean, it's very hard for anyone to understand what you have done and what you are capable of in that short period of time. It's hard to judge a person. So try to give your best. Try to do projects which are not very common. And yeah, internships helpful for company or college projects. Who is better? Uh, Internships definitely. So I did my internship in National Center for Radio Astrophysics. Uh, it's important. You will get to know, you will get to learn so many things, but it depends where you are going to join, which company you are going to join, and what exactly you are going to do there. So if you join a company where you will learn a small thing, but you will learn that really good. Let's say if you learn how to create a web application and how to deploy that application, that's really good. Like if you haven't learned that before, and if you are able to do that after your internship, you will be learning something. And if you can impress with your skill sets to your I believe do it to don't do anything just for sake of impressing anyone. uh, but doing an internship is always helpful. And college projects are also helpful. Like in internship, the difference is like you need to do what your colleagues asked you to do, and in college project you have a freedom to choose and to do what things you want to do. So that's the only difference. Whatever you feel best for you, if you feel you have really great idea and you can implement and do something, uh, you can definitely. There are so many projects which were like college projects in the really good universities, and they are real life working examples now. Okay. In which type of programming does image recognition? So you can do it in multiple languages. I remember one of my friend in BCS, he did image processing in Java, and he also there was another pair who worked on image processing, like encrypting the image and using some RSA algorithm and working on that. So you can use the language of your choice. For example, Java or C Sharp or Scala, or if you want to do something in Android, Kotlin is something people are heavily using nowadays. So even that should be good to go. The important part is what you are comfortable with. Like if you want, if let's say if you want to create a project, but if you are not aware of a language, then you first have to learn the language, and then maybe you need to work on your project. Because if you don't understand the language correctly, if you don't understand all the features of it, it's hard to implement things. So I suggest try to implement something which with the language you have a really good command on, or maybe something which you are more familiar with.
Okay, I hope everyone doubt is cleared. Okay. Okay, sir. It is such a honor for me to get an opportunity to thank you all on behalf of the Department of Computer Science, DBF Dayanand College of Arts and Science, Solapur. I would like to express my gratitude to all that webinar for their presence and contribution to make this webinar successful. I extend my gratitude to our honorable guest, Mr. Vishal Akalkote sir, to take our time from his busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you, sir, for giving us your valuable knowledge on a recent trend in a computer application. It is a very beneficial information for all the participants, and it encourages to our students. Thank you, sir. I
Thank you.
must
It's the pleasure of mine to give back to the community where I used to work with. So the Dayanand College has given me a lot, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm just trying to give a little back to the college. And thank you so much for having me. And I can ping my LinkedIn profile if you guys feel like. If you have any questions, or if you want to connect to me in future, if you need any help, any suggestions, you guys can connect me or talk to me, message me, whatever you feel comfortable. I'll be there to help you guys, or at least I'll try to uh, suggest what I can, or try to send it to someone who can help you there. So I just ping my LinkedIn profile. You guys can connect to me. I'll be more than happy to help you all, and learning from you all guys also at the same time, because I
okay, sir.
believe the young generation is really good at creativity, and there is a lot to learn from you guys too.
Okay, sir. Students, if they have any doubts, they will connect to you. They will ask the questions. Next, I must thank the organizing team and our technical support team. Last but not the least, that I thank my all participants. Without you, this function would not be as successful. So once again, thank you one and all for wholeheartedly. For the participant feedback form will be sending in the WhatsApp group. Okay, please fill it.
Okay, thank you so much, and have a nice day, have a nice year, and take care of yourself, and I wish you a really good health.
You too, sir.